The neighbor said she hadn't seen her neighbor and believed she was in this apartment when we came. Therefore, we entered forcefully. She was critically unwell in a side bedroom. To put on her oxygen mask, I crossed the bed. She exclaimed, "Oh, thank God," as she saw us. As soon as she breathed, her hot breath filled my lungs. I was sick within 12 hours. Medical personnel hospitalized me. Their items included synthetic morphine Nubain. Taking such pills so quickly knocked down an already damaged system. I left my body without realizing it. In an instant, I was flying across the sky. Being joyful and ecstatic was the most amazing feeling. I was home again. Greetings, Biddle Len. The California Central Coast was my childhood home. My favorite sports were water polo, surfing, and swimming. Beach camping and being one with nature seemed too lovely to be true. It was flawless. I became interested in fire prevention and control after taking a CPO class after high school. I saw a huge mountaintop fire on my way back from the beach. After disembarking, I climbed the slope in board shorts and flip-flops. Her house was on fire, and she was there with 2 young children, a dog, and several pups. Despite my ignorance, I wanted to help. I used a shovel and hose to redirect the fire from the house. "Hey man, we could use somebody like you," firefighters said upon arrival. "You should investigate our hotshot crew." I work with Santa Barbara County Fire. I was drawn to assisting others. It was meaningful since you knew you'd help someone who called 911 in a crisis. Any shift would have worked for me. Teachers, social workers, and nurses agree. You were born to help. We answered calls during the 1994 Santa Barbara flu pandemic. The neighbor said she hadn't seen her neighbor and believed she was in this apartment when we came. We burst through the front door since the car was in the driveway and had newspapers. She was really sick in her rear bedroom. To put on her oxygen mask, I crossed the bed. As I put the mask on her, she noticed the fireman. She exclaimed, "Oh, thank God," as she saw us. As soon as she breathed, her hot breath filled my lungs. I told the medics, "This is not going to turn out good." Everyone could witness what happened. I was sick within 12 hours. My heart was beating and I felt dreadful. Getting out of bed was difficult due to a fever, nausea, and vomiting. You never quit, but something told me, you need to throw in some kind of towel here. You're going down. I was fit and competing in Ironman races. I called 911 then. Medical personnel hospitalized me. I had 2 or 3 liters of fluid when the nurse arrived. I said, "I can go home, I think, and we'll get some antibiotics going or something." She said, "No, you arrived by ambulance and the doctor hasn't seen you yet." He told everyone to accept it. Their items included synthetic morphine Nubain. Taking such pills so quickly knocked down an already damaged system. Everyone ran inside when the bells rung. They couldn't take a reading since the blood pressure was 40/0. Immediately taken to intensive care. Late at night, I realized I had left my body. Stars of all colors and sizes appeared as I flew over the sky. I felt like a giant, inflated balloon was floating inside me, like I had been rescued from a gloomy, suffocating closet. It was exhilarating, like someone had poured honey on my head and nerves. Your vibration was one of joy and acceptance. You were energetic, exuberant, and cheery at home. It was pure joy. Knowledge was also happening. All this information appeared pre-programmed by the universe. When you pondered about a topic, answers poured in. I remember college microfiche. It may be spun on a screen to show the pages. This was how it felt, a flood of data at light speed. Time's sky held the human script. All was possible in that world. I had a huge recollection while flying. How could I think I was this guy? When did I assume I was Bill? I had a personality with relationships and preferences. Everything faded. I pretended to be this person like a video game character. Everything is in good humor. We're performing. I think the game is about awakening in this virtual world and accepting oneself with love, compassion, and tolerance. Everything was great, and I was flying. Everything was excellent, and I felt at home. Landing on solid ground was unexpected. 3 little, masked men were before me. I immediately felt comfortable with them, and they were thrilled to see me. I was randomly asked, "How was it? Anyone seen anything? What did we learn?" Kindly inform us. They laughed at my confusion. When one of them turned to the other two and said, "He doesn't remember us," the group laughed. Upon landing, my best friends asked how the roller coaster went, reminding me of it. I couldn't think clearly to tell them. This second man was tall and ethereal, like a tornado or vortex. His parts would break and reassemble as he advanced. He smiled broadly, showing his excitement. Even more, his adoration was obvious. As he neared, my throat tightened and chest felt like it might burst. Love for you was so great that I thought I would drop to my knees and cry. Their names came from our ancestors. They reside outside our physical world and change our view of them. They called them angels, guides, and aides. I feel connected to a higher force. I wondered, so, is this my life narrative? Would you like to start there? I felt a sense of urgency to, okay, there's a procedure here, and let's get busy with it. Perhaps from my fire captain days. He laughed, that tall, wispy man. He finally said, "Okay, sure, let's do that." After calming down, this was more a show than a life analysis. It looked like our situation was being exposed in all its intricacy. I had no serious regrets. I presented several stories of positions I reconsidered. He then said, "All right, that's enough," in a ridiculous attempt to calm down. "Return now." That shocked me. I shouted, "Return. Who's kidding me?" "No, you must return," claims. "No way." And I exclaimed, "For me, returning is futile." I had no fear of my current area or destination and felt there was more. "You won't miss me much," I said. "We'll survive my parents' and wife's few weeks down. These people are tough." "Listen, you're returning," he remarked. "Pay attention to your important duties." Room disintegration had just begun. I saw him disappear as everything fell apart. Once I felt like I was falling, I left that transitional place and entered the blackness below. I was myself again. A squeeze of my automatic blood pressure cuff might startle me. The pump raised my blood pressure with each activation. I could stay awake once the temperature reached the 70s, possibly 70 degrees over 40. The nurse saw my small face staring at her as she passed by. "Surprised?" she exclaimed. "You're awake." I replied, "Yes, I am." She said, "I have to tell the doctor immediately because we've been so worried." I answered, "Okay, yeah, that's cool. You can tell the doctor. But first, what am I doing back here?" I needed clarification. "I was home," I said. "I was with my best bros at home." "I returned here? How?" My rage was extreme. I was determined to be Bill Lon and hid my body. I was back in Leeton. The old gum-chewing nurse said, "My darling, you dropped out of escrow and are back with us. You must grasp that." I was sad for a few days, not clinically depressed. Seeing that celestial realm, I saw that liminal space. Time for me to go. "You think you won't go back?" It was a heated issue after I returned to work. People said, "We heard you had this thing happen in the hospital." And I answered, "Yes, I did." "Please take a seat," I said. I wanted everyone to experience the other side, which filled me tremendously. After telling the story for a week or two, an office colleague said, "Hey, you better put that story away because they're starting to talk about you up there in the chief's office." So I flubbed and sealed it for 15 years. It simmered with me for years. I didn't ignore it. After I resigned, everything started again. I felt a whisper as a spiritual person. I felt like someone was pushing me toward Central America to meet shamans and learn from Native Americans. The Mayans and other ancient societies have great understanding about this place and our role in it. I was advised to return to peaceful areas without Wi-Fi or routers. Spiritual communication is possible with enough quiet. Few of us take the time to meditate and open ourselves to new experiences. We have all we need here, so Pluto is unnecessary. You'll be guided to raise your frequency as the sun, that great spirit, and Source's energy split the curtain. In this Earth school, the school of hard knocks, we learn by doing. Besides the thrill, adventure, and delight this place gives, we committed to experience 3 or 4 huge tsunamis. We must choose the higher frequency and learn to love unconditionally. I see a fresh opportunity now. Which will you choose? When someone tailgates you in your automobile, would you be annoyed or think, "Oh well, I'll just get over"? Your choice. The choice is yours. Some find the material ego and illusion of beingness being too overpowering. Be gentle, patient, and courteous always. Each of us is seen by many souls. Our dogs, loved ones, and ancestors support us in making spiritually beneficial choices. We're here exclusively for that. After serving others with kindness, compassion, and sweetness, you can go. We are being prepared to become gods and continue the creative process in the vast, expanding cosmos.